Hello everybody and welcome back to another Pathfinder Plays. Usually I give you guys updates on dead matter. However, today something popped up on my Twitter feed that piqued my interest. Let me introduce you to Curzon line. Now, this video will have timestamps in the description, so please check them out if you're interested in something specific. About the game. Curzon Line is cooperative, open-world, story-driven, first-person shooter that takes place just a mere few hours after a nuclear war breaks out between the Russian Federation and United Nations. You play an NRFA operator who is then deployed to the heart of the combat zone, and you are then cut off from your commanding center due to complications. The game will give you quest-rich role-playing, survival horror, and military simulator aspects, and this will all be set in Poland. This game is currently in pre-alpha. The developers. Curzon Line is created by a small team called the Art Exponent, who, as far as I can tell, have created only one other title, at least recently, by the name of Popeli of Chimney Town. I have no idea if I said any of that right, so please forgive me. This game is a VR experience based off a Japanese novel if any one of you is interested in that sort of gameplay. The company was founded in 2016 and is located in Vancouver, Canada. I have got to say, first Dead Matter, now this. Canada is really itching for a good survival game. The team has experience in developing for PC, consoles, virtual reality, and mobile platforms. The developer team consists of 3 people: Yuri Kawana, the CEO and artist, Michael Colton, who is the programmer, and please forgive me for this name, Krzysztof Taper, who is also an artist. The world. The year is 2032. Russia has annexed the Ukraine by using Belarus, and despite multiple warnings from the United Nations, is marching west. Tensions build in the eastern and western European regions. Belarus, located just west of Russia, not only was used to annex the Ukraine, but also used a bioagent against peacekeeping forces in Tiraspol, Poland. Obviously, the United States and the European Union condemn the use of bioclass weaponry. The West cuts Russia off both diplomatically and economically, and then mobilizes forces in all UN countries in preparation for war. Fuel prices skyrocket, riots, looting, and destabilization starts to occur in Europe. 3 weeks after the incident, an early warning radar in northeastern Poland goes silent. This is where you come in. You and your team are part of the NATO Rapid Response Forces. This force is well equipped and ready for everything. Almost anything. During the transit over there, an EMP detonates and strikes your plane. This EMP was caused by nuclear detonations which can be seen in the distance. You order your team to evacuate and deploy parachutes to conduct an emergency landing and land in a swampy area, scattered and detached. This is your first objective. Find your teammates, proceed with the mission. As you continue searching the area, you see the world changing from the exposure to mass nuclear radiation. People are shocked and lost. Just a couple months after the first bomb dropped, the country's destabilization resources are almost gone, scarce even. Many places are abandoned: military checkpoints, police stations, malls, and hospitals. These have become bandit lairs and yield high reward for those who are willing to risk it all. Bandits aren't the only survivors you will come across. The world is filled with bands of unarmed looters, stranded families scared to death in their homes, military rogues, and wildlife. The area of your crash was only partly exposed to radiation, but as your journey continues north, more and more things go wrong. The survivors and starving wildlife aren't the only threats in this world. The air is corrupt with toxins and pollution from the bombs, which requires you to wear a respiratory device to protect yourself. The climate has totally changed and has caused rapid temperature decrease, which then produces supercell hailstorms and radioactive rains. In addition to the hazardous weather, you discover that Belarusians, those who detonated the bioweapons, attacked key strategic points with an experimental bioagent which began transforming fauna and flora. These areas require heavy-duty hazmat gear. Only the best will allow you to survive the area and see the horrors mankind has wrought. Features. Cruise Line boasts many features that will attract hardcore players of the survival genre. You will need to keep your body hydrated and warm in a cold climate. Food and water quality is a factor in this world and will make surviving easier. Make sure food is fresh or canned and the water is boiled. If ever possible, search for vitamins and mineral supplements to balance out those micronutrients. You can get sick. Not only will sickness be in this world, but injuries as well. Minor injuries are common. These include things like contusions and small cuts. You can heal these with some spirit, gauze, or a band-aid. There are, however, more serious injuries which will require you to find a specialized medic to treat. These include illnesses, wounds, or bone fractures, injuries that cannot be effectively treated in the field. As mentioned earlier, the air is toxic to the lungs and body. A gas mask will be required to venture forth outside. You can use a legitimate gas mask or even create your own improvised cloth mask. One can assume that the protective effects will be limited with the cloth mask. While symptoms of going outside unprotected won't be immediately noticeable, your body will start to malfunction eventually. Psychology is another factor which plays a role in this game. Combat stress, exposure to abnormal events, compunction, and loneliness are all treatable with alcohol or psychotropic drugs. Your psyche will be buffed if you travel with friends or NPCs. Though this game is story-based, there can be no mistakes. No quick saves or autosaves are there. Your progress only saves in designated safe zones. This means you will need to plan for your trip, bring adequate gear for what you expect, and what you don't. There are many threats in this world, and none of them will make it easy to retreat. There are no levels or skills, no perks or abilities. Your gear and your skill are all you can rely on. Keep this in mind when you decide to explore the world. Are you confident enough to survive, or do you need to travel in a pack? Either way, the weapon system features sufficient realistic weapons to keep you formidable. The arsenal is fully moddable, and projectile ballistics are based on actual physical properties. That means there are no bullet sponge enemies. Enjoy. Inventory management, if you hadn't guessed by now, is very important. You can utilize external items such as carts, movable containers, and more to bring items back to a safe area after a raid or journey. Keep in mind, the more you carry, the slower you go, and the more noise you make. In conclusion, Curzon Line seems to be a very ambitious game. Will this game be the king of all survival horror games? Will they be able to battle against dead matter? Or will both games be able to share the community and live in harmony? Only one thing is for sure. It's a wasteland out there, and only the strong will survive. Path out.